Welcome, world. Welcome, everyone, to the third episode.
Yes, sir.
Of Conversations with a Pitbull Live TV, the only show of its kind broadcasting around the world on the web, Skyping, blogging, streaming, radio, television, to our audience everywhere. And I want to start off, Danny, by saying thank you to everybody who's responded and given us all the great feedback. Our fan base is stretched out. We got Peru, Australia, Canada, England,
Watts, Inglewood,
New York. Well, I mean, we got all the states. The rescue groups around the world have been wonderful, and other people are finding out about the show. So it's a wonderful thing. I'm ecstatic, and thank you guys so much for supporting us. The thing we want to do is we want to stress to you guys, now the time is to start getting the general public to know about the show. The animal community has responded very well, the dog community overall, and cat community. We are all about the pit bulls, education, entertainment, de-demification of the pit bull breed. We got a great show today. One of our guests didn't make it, and I think that's my fault in the communication, but I want to say, make sure you guys stick around for the last 5 minutes of the show because I got something special. I just want to say thank you to everybody out there. And someone asked me, Danny, this week, they said, what are you trying to do with this show? Foster, what are you doing? I mean, what's in it for you? And I was, well, what's in it and what am I trying to do? It was a good question. And what I ended up with is, I think we're the rescue for the rescue groups, you know, because they need help. They need some support. They need somebody saying thank you because the dogs can't talk, and they're doing this very, you know, incredible work, the work that I can't do. I wish I could, you know, and nobody is saying thank you to them. So I'm saying thank you to the rescue groups, and if you guys can stick around at the end of the show, I think you'll like it. So, what do we got today, Dan?
Well, it should be a really awesome show. I mean, like Foster said, the show is designed to try to get some more exposure for not only the causes that pertain to animals, animal rights, pit bulls, and all dogs, but also to try to give an uplift for some of these rescue groups and people that love dogs, people that are on the front line fighting for their rights. We're trying to use entertainment as a platform to kind of take a new approach towards doing it. You know, Foster and I are filmmakers primarily. We both love dogs and own dogs, and we're just trying to utilize not only the technology that's available to us, but also our creativity as filmmakers to try to shed some light on these issues. We're trying to utilize this platform to invite you guys, the viewers out there, to come participate with us. Help us make this better. Help us bring it to a whole nother level, and really we're trying to help these dogs. Like, if you look at these pictures and you look at some of these dogs that are available for adoption and fostering or whatever, there's no way that you can kind of just stay inactive. And this is just our attempt to get active, get out there, try to expose some of the issues, put it on a platform that makes it available for people in their everyday course of doing their work and their social life. So today we've got some wonderful guests. We've got in-studio guests. Tell us a little bit about some of our in-studio guests.
Well, we got something different today. We brought some Hollywood comedy, and you guys are going to love it. Brett is one of the Hollywood staples. He's won some recent awards, actually, in L.A., and let me throw it to Brett, because, I can't ever introduce anybody properly, because everything that I've learned and remembered, I can't remember. I'm going to just tell you that he's the winner of the Los Angeles Comedian of the Year, the Los Angeles Comedy Fest, and a couple of... Brett, talk.
Yes. What?
Tell everyone out there about yourself, brother.
Well, many years ago I was born.
A poor black child?
Poor black child.
Oh, man, my brother from another mother. I knew that.
Telling you what, man. That's
no wonder, man. Tell Dad I said hey.
Okay. Tell Mom I said what up.
That's right.
No, I've been in the entertainment industry for pretty much most of my life, and with the exception of some times I took to go in the military and do all that kind of stupid, crazy stuff. But the LA Comedy Awards was one of the events.
That's what I said.
Yeah, I swept that with 2 awards this year, and then the Global Officials Dignitary Award, which is a philanthropic organization that supports We Care for Humanity. I received Comedian of the Year there.
And I wanted to get that. And what was the show that you were on that I remember I saw? It was with Blinky way back.
That was when I was 6 years old. That was my first exposure to the entertainment industry. My grandmother booked me on a local TV show in Denver, Colorado called Blinky's Fun Club.
Uh-huh.
This is Blinky the Clown doing his, kid show type thing.
And Brett,
yeah,
they won't let him have a dog in his apartment building.
Well, he's passed, so it's kind of a small space for him right now. Of course, I saw him the other day. He's kind of hopped up on, some embalming fluid, but, it is what it is.
Great. Well, hey, we're gonna
come back with Brett. He's gonna be hanging out with us in the studio like all day, which is cool. It's always good to bring some levity to some of these such hard issues that we're trying to tackle, like dog fighting and abandonment in the shelters and stuff.
Pitbull.
How about a Pitbull?
Pitbull really works.
Pitbull. Release the dog in you. Pitbull energy drink. Sugar-free. Now in 3 new flavors. Cranberry pink grapefruit, pomegranate blueberry, and cherry lime. Pitbull. Taste the experience. When you need a pickup, it's time for a Pitbull. Pitbull.
One recurring segment that we're going to be having on the show is our good friend Fred, who's back east, who's tell us a little bit about Fred.
Fred K from the Pitbull Legal News. And Fred is going to talk to us about what's happening in the world of pit bulls and legally around the world and all of the issues.
Because it's important for us, like just as entertainers, like to be able to have some of these experts on, people that are on the front lines, right?
We're going to always have experts. As a matter of fact, Fred has his own show on Blog Talk Radio that I'm going to get him to tell everybody about.
Awesome.
But he has blessed us by agreeing to come on our show and do a segment, and if we can get him to just hang around for the whole show, that would be a wonderful thing. But he's going to do a weekly update for us to get you guys to understand everything that's going on in the world of pit bulls and legally and all of that stuff. So
let's see if Fred's out there. Hey, Fred, are you around?
I am around.
Hey.
I'm around in the ether everywhere.
Look at that.
All right, so we're going to come back, and Fred is going to have it, and it'll be great.
So, Fred, tell us a little bit about what you do over there with the Pitbull Legal News.
What we do at Pitbull and Legal News is we try to, we're not as funny as you guys. But what we try to do is cover all the news and really cover the legal aspect of it because, as you know, Denver, Miami, there are places that have pit bull bans. There are places that discriminate against pit bulls in renting, as Brent was talking about, homeowners associations, condos. And we actually try to connect with the people who have problems and help them try to legally, for example, fight a pit bull ban. So right now in Clay, Alabama, they passed a pit bull ban with no public input. They didn't notify anybody. They passed it. And then they put people in a position where they had to register their dogs within 60 days. And if they didn't, then they'd be in violation. So they wanted to know what to do about it. And of course, the commissioners, they had already made up their mind. So I talked to some lawyers in Clay, and I sent them some pleadings and gave them legal advice because I know a lot about the law because I actually sued Grant County, Washington for their pit bull ban, and we hired experts, and they ended up repealing their ban because of the lawsuit. And I've also represented a lot of dangerous dogs. So I know about what's required for due process, and it's easier for me to tell them than for them to reinvent the wheel. So, we have a lot of people calling in with those kinds of problems. And we also, we've had on a lot of the Vic dog owners who've adopted dogs from best friends that were former fighting dogs. So we have a lot of things we do that maybe not be as entertaining as you guys, but it's still information that people, around the country would be good to know.
Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about this BSL legislation, Fred. What is kind of like the inception of it? Like the
inception of it was really in Hollywood, Florida, back in the early '80s, and I would say 99% of the time, what happens is there's a pit bull mauling, and the victim and the media get a hold of it. And let's take Miami for example. Within 3 months, they had passed a ban. Now their ban did not have any scientific evidence. It was back in, the early 80s. And it didn't have any science behind it. And the science really, and the research that's gone on and the DNA developments in identifying dogs have made it very difficult for pit bull bans to be enforced. So, for example, in Clay County, their ban says that it'd be like if you got a traffic ticket and the policeman said, here's a traffic ticket, you can't contest it, pay the fine or we're arresting you. There's no hearing. There's no point where the government has to come forward and say, we had the right to take your dog and here's the reason why. And we have to prove our case. And if we don't, you get your dog back. That aspect is not even in the Clay County ordinance. It's totally unconstitutional. But the commissioner's feeling is that if nobody challenges it in court, then they can keep doing whatever they want. So the only way to challenge it was for somebody to file a lawsuit, which they did. And now, of course, they're saying, well, maybe we want to change this. BSL, I prefer to call it breed discriminatory legislation because it's discriminatory and it's not specific. Some of these laws say any dog that looks like a pit bull is a pit bull, and they don't give any definition. We all know that pit bull is not a breed. It's 3 different breeds. So what happens if, like Miami's definition is the majority of characteristics of a pit bull. So you would think that would mean 51%. There are places that say any element of pit bull, which means that if it's 1%. So it's crazy. What I say to everybody who fights about, there are a lot of different divisive fights in the pit bull world, but I think the bottom line is that nobody can disagree that it's unfair for an animal control officer who's in his car, who has a book of dogs in it, no training, says this dog looks like a pit bull, and he has the ultimate authority to take.
Pitbull.
How about a Pitbull?
Pitbull really works.
Pitbull. Release the dog in you. Pitbull energy drink. Sugar-free. Now in 3 new flavors. Cranberry pink grapefruit, pomegranate blueberry, and cherry lime. Pitbull. Tasty experience. When you need a pickup, it's time for a Pitbull. Pitbull. Right. Fred, tell me this. Where are we at with change? Is it changing out there in terms of, the breed and what's happening with them? And, I know that it's still, 2,500 dogs being put to sleep every day or something. But, what is the stats on the last few years? Are things changing? Are they going backwards? Is it getting worse? Is it getting better?
It's clear to me that things are changing for the better. I've been in this, 3 or 4 years now. When I first got in it, legally it was very difficult to win. But for example, Ohio had a statewide breed ban, and they repealed it last year in 2012. This year, 3 more states have put in effect laws that say you can't discriminate against dogs based on breed. So I think that brings up to 16 states that have those laws, and no state bans them in the entire state.
Hey Fred, is that change you think coming because of the groundswell of protest or activism on the part of people in the dog community, or is that the legislators getting it in, or what?
I think it's several factors that have come together all at once. I think the first thing that we have to talk about is the Vic dogs. I think the Vic dogs and the publicity they got, and the fact that 95% of them were saved and are living, some of them in homes, was a grand experiment that could have only happened with the publicity and the money Michael Vick had. He spent $1 million to house, test, and get these dogs rehabilitated. And it was the first time in the history that I know of where you could actually say, look, we had 50 dogs and 48 were good, and we were able to rehabilitate them and get them out into either sanctuary or homes. And so it's not a death sentence to be a fighting dog. As a result of that, Florida, for example, which is the state I'm in, has passed legislation that says if you have a fighting dog, you can't automatically euthanize it. So I think, first of all, that changed the public perception in a huge way, in a way that could never be changed by anything else. That one, dogs who are fighting are victims, not vicious, terrible animals. And second of all, it doesn't mean that they're going to forever be fighting dogs and can't be changed. The second thing that happened was DNA. Dog DNA, the dog genome was taken apart, and now the geneticists are involved. And basically what they're saying is, the geneticist is, there is no fighting gene, there is no gene in a pit bull that makes it worse than other dogs. And identifying a pit bull by visual identification has become a fighting ground. Whereas before, they'd say, this looks like a pit bull, we're taking it. Now you can, if you get a DNA test and you can show that it's not 51% pit bull, you can beat the case that way. And amazingly, there's a case out of Miami called Cardell versus the city of the Miami-Dade County, which says animal control officers are not qualified to identify a dog by looking at it to say it's a pit bull. And you have to understand that Miami has the most sophisticated identification of pit bulls of any city that has a breed ban. And what they said in that case is that, yeah, you're identifying pit bulls, but there's no way of knowing if the identification is correct. You don't keep records. You don't compare it to DNA. There's no data for error. And so all of these things taken together and also there's one other thing, and that is the popularity of pit bulls. Pit bulls have increased in popularity over the last decade, 40%. And in many states, they're in the top 3 most popular dogs. So
well, that's America's dog.
That's what I say.
So I think all these factors have come together And I think what's happening is the science, what the geneticists are saying essentially is, and I'll give you an example. Greyhounds are probably the most closed gene pool and the easiest to say, okay, we're going to try and breed for prey drive and speed. Okay, so you take 100 greyhounds of the fastest greyhounds and the most prey driven, and you breed 100 of them. Only 10% pass that gene on, so you only get 10% success rate. And think about, I mean, this is true of horse racing. You take horse races that are, the guys pay $500,000 to be a stud for Seattle Slew. How many of those horses actually then win after that? Not very many. So it's not as easy as everybody thinks to breed a fighting dog. And even if you get one, it's a natural thing. It's hard to train them to do that. So I think all of these factors have contributed to the problem being more public, and the problems with enforcement and identification. There are now studies out that show that when animal control officers, veterinarians, rescue organizations, when they try to identify a breed by how it looks, and you compare it to the DNA, they're correct less than 25% of the time. So how is this animal control law? There is no training for pit bull identification. You go on the web and Google it. You go to the National Animal Control Association. There's nothing there that you can be trained for. So you've got a guy that in Washington. This is what happened, and this is what people understand. The guy who was doing the identification, he had a book in his car. He got to the pit bull page. He looked at it. He looked at the dog, and then he decided. So when we took his deposition, we got Victoria Voith, who did the study on pit bulls and DNA, to make a 20-picture, like mugshot kind of thing of different dogs, and got him to identify. And he went through and he did terribly.
Right.
At the end of the thing, we showed him the very dog in the case that we're talking about, and he said he couldn't tell what kind it was.
Right. Well, Fred, you're gonna be with us for the rest of the show. I want to take some phone calls because I got a special guest in the airport or something like that right now, and we want to get him on. But when we come back to you, I want you to give us the legalese on what can we do about the breeding. Tell me the legal issues of what people can do to attack these breeders who are doing the illegal. Where do the laws stand? Are the governments, the city officials not enforcing the laws that are on the books, and what? Because I'm about solutions, and the breeding, we got to stop the bleeding, which is the breeding.
Well, it's great to hear Fred just say that he does see change, and
right.
and that there's all these factors that are causing that change, and it takes a little bit from everybody.
That's right.
It takes a little bit from the media, the people in the rescue communities, these legislators, the activists, the scientists. It takes a lot from everybody.
Let's not forget Wallace.
But as you guys can see, Fred is very passionate and very knowledgeable about what it is going on in the actual community on the legal side, the scientific side. And we're going to bring in Fred periodically on our future shows to help us, attack some of these issues and bring some awareness. And we really appreciate you, Fred.
Because
tapping in and hanging out with us. Hopefully we'll have some time later on the show to bring you back. But we're going to take some calls. We've got a good friend on the line. A guy, it's hard even to put it into words. Gordon Shell, he's the dog fighter. Foster, just give him a brief introduction to Gordon, and then we're gonna play a cool trailer for this awesome movie that he's working on.
I would like if Gordon's on the phone. Let's play. Hey, Gordon, you there?
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. You know what? I don't want to talk before. I want the people to see the trailer because Gordon's movie premiered last week on Saturday in Detroit. And let's play the trailer and let the people see it because that's the thing right now. Let's pump the movie. It's all about entertainment on this side. Here we go.
My name's Gordon Shell, and I'm a cage fighter. I fight so that the dogs don't have to. The doctors tell me I have a failing heart. They say that I can't fight anymore, or there's a chance that I could die. My love for pets, my love for animals, I kind of mixed the two of them and said, if I'm going to come back and do this, I want to do it for a cause that I'm passionate about. You know, I love dogs, I love animals. I have 2 rescues of my own. So when the promoter came to me, I agreed that I would do one more fight for him, but I wanted all the proceeds from my ticket sales, and I wanted him to make a donation for the dogs, the homeless dogs, the abused dogs, the forgotten dogs of Detroit. There's over 50,000 homeless dogs in the city of Detroit. That number doesn't get smaller, it continues to grow. You can bring awareness all you want, but everything takes money. We have to be able to feed these dogs. When you look into a dog's face and see their emotion and they're an actual, I mean, to me that's more than a person, because they don't have a voice and I have a voice. So I want to be their voice and fight for them. My name's Gordon Shell, star of The Dogfighter, a docudrama following my struggles to get to my final MMA event and bring awareness to the lost, homeless, and abused dogs in the city of Detroit.
Pitbull.
How about a Pitbull?
Pitbull really works.
Pitbull. Release the dog in you. Pitbull energy drink. Sugar-free. Now in 3 new flavors. Cranberry pink grapefruit, pomegranate blueberry, and cherry lime. Pitbull. Tasty experience. When you need a pickup, it's time for a Pitbull. Pitbull.
Yeah, so that was Gordon Shell's trailer for his film, The Dogfighter. Wow, that was pretty awesome, right?
Hey, man, that's my man. That's my man. He can't do no wrong. I mean, you know, the work that Gordon's been doing for years, man.
Gordon, what's up, man? How you doing?
Take my hat off.
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
Where you at, bro?
I apologize for all the communication issues we've had. I'm on the road, and then I was overwhelmed last week with the premiere of the movie. That trailer that you see there was actually shot in the first 2 weeks of the movie. So, you know, the movie has a whole different feel to it than what you actually see there, but it's all the same cause and all the same, you know, purpose. And we did it. We did a red carpet premiere on the movie in front of about almost 150 people, and we got a standing ovation at the end of the movie. So it was pretty amazing for me, and you know, I felt great. I apologize. I've got a little bit of a loud. I'm between the airport and the hotel, so sorry about that. But it was a great event. During the day, we had DoggyCon, which we brought awareness. We brought in about 25, 30 vendors, all animal-related, pet-related, a lot of pit bulls. I think we adopted out 4 dogs that day. Hey. So it was great. The event was great altogether, and now we actually got word that a major distributor wants to see the film, and we are going to initially tour with the film before we go to a distributor. So we've got, I believe, 7 cities booked right now. The studio's running all that, and we'll go from city to city with the movie in co-op with different animal rescues and advocacy groups, and show the film in front of their groups, and hopefully get a room of, you know, we've got some theaters that they claim are sold out at 2,500 people. So if we can get into a theater like that, get this out to that many people, and it goes viral, we'll be very excited about it.
You're going to let us know when, you know, it's coming to a theater near you, right? You know, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we'll pump it up here, buddy. You know that. And so what is the next city? Do you guys have a city booked already?
Right now, we're discussing Cleveland and Baltimore. Baltimore has been phenomenal because we've got Baltimore Bully Crew out there. They've brought me in for a few of their events. We've been extremely successful. and all of their events that I've done with them. So they want to support me and have me bring the film there. They'll promote it, fill the theaters. It'll be great. And then Cleveland, I've got a friend over there. He's a professional fighter, Pat Russo. And then his friend Chris Hughes does therapy dogs. So he takes the pit bulls, rehabs them into therapy dogs. So the combination of both of them together, he's got a Facebook page called Gizmo, and Gizmo's page has over 30,000 followers. So anything he does in his area, he gets a huge turnout. So we're going to go to Baltimore, then Cleveland. We're looking at, obviously, Philadelphia, because I want to be in Michael Vick's backyard. And then, continue on around the country. But we've had requests from Clearwater, Florida. I love going to Lovable in Austin, Texas. I did the Pity Pride Parade last year with, I believe there were about 2,000 pit bulls all in a park. And we walked right down the center of Austin, Texas. We get a police escort. And I grand marshaled the parade with Tia from Pitbulls and Parolees.
Hey, we love them.
Yeah, we had a blast, and with all those dogs in one park, it was amazing. Yeah, that many pit bulls and that many bull breeds, and there were other breeds there also. There was one dog bite in the entire park, and that was due to they were given free vaccinations, and a vet tech just slammed a shot into a pit bull's butt, and his reaction was to turn around and snap at her, and that was it. He snapped because he got poked in the butt. But to have that many of that breed in one place, and people just think there's going to be chaos, and it was just a bunch of dogs playing and bouncing around and a bunch of happy owners. It's an amazing event. So yeah, we definitely want to go there.
Absolutely. On that note, Gordon, I think that there needs to be more events like that, because Danny and I, we went to the
Bullywood 2.
Yeah, out here in California, and it was amazing. I had never seen anything like that, and one person jumped on us about that, talking about how wonderful it was, and we'll talk about that later, but I think that
one of the things I really think is cool too, about just seeing Gordon, because he's using film to bring some of these issues that are really personal to him, but personal to so many people, out to the masses. And I think that film has an amazing capacity to do that. And it's like doing the groundwork too, like working with the rescues and doing the things that Gordon was mentioning. But one of the things that's really intriguing to me, and I really look forward to meeting you, Gordon, one day, is just seeing how you're using film and teaming up with some experts on the artistic side to kind of bring these things to life. Can you talk just briefly? We got about a minute and a half left with you. Just talk briefly about that experience, like working on the film side with what you're doing.
Yeah, well, what happened when we started the film, it was the studio was watching my Facebook page, and I was a mixed martial arts fighter, and my heart was failing. So they already liked that aspect of it, and then they started watching me start putting posts up where I'm traveling with the Michigan Humane Society and other groups out to find these dogs that were in cruelty situations or that we were suspecting were in dog fights. So as we go out and do that with these guys that are qualified, I was getting frustrated to the point where their hands are tied. They have to follow the laws. So when we go out there and we suspect a pit bull in a yard that's fighting, we can set up a violation. We can come back and pay a visit. But when you're there and you can clearly see that this is a trained dog, that's when I took it a little bit further. And what I do, the police kind of turn their head, but I do work with groups that are qualified, but they stay anonymous. I strap up in full bulletproof. I go out and I actually take the dogs. If we know that dog's in danger, I'll get the dog out of there. It's like a PPO for a battered woman.
Right.
It's a piece of paper. It's not going to protect that dog. I'm going to get in there and save that battered woman before she ends up dead. And then we go, well, we should have done something. I'm going to get in there and do something for the dog. So I'll take it to some anonymous groups. They'll rehab that dog, and we will most likely find it a home. There's very few that we haven't found homes for. I mean, they're amazing dogs.
Well, Gordon, I know that, you're in between cities and everybody's waiting on you to get on the road. So we're not going to keep you. Just tell me this one thing for the audience, because, I get a lot of messages from people all over the world. So what's the plans for taking the movie internationally?
International, we will be on Netflix, Redbox, everything that people will be able to watch streaming online. We're very leery about putting it out on DVD just because the studio's last few movies that they did, as soon as it went to DVD, people upload it, it goes viral on the internet, and then you lose all your value. And we are trying to raise money for the dogs. So we're going to do that limited theatrical release as we travel around the country, around the U.S. and Canada, and then we'll get distribution and we'll put it out there. We're really hoping for one of the major networks. The studios worked with Showtime and Stars before. Their movies have made it there easily, so we have that connection. And then our executive producer is Catherine McDermott. She worked on both the first Spider-Man movies, Men in Black movies, all the Will Smith stuff she did. So she's very well connected. So I'm very confident that this movie is it will be international regardless. So don't worry about that. And then I look forward to working on Conversations with a Pitbull with Foster. I'm really looking forward to that. I've been talking that up big. So that's my next big project. And I'm looking forward to it, Foster.
That's right, and it's going to be a wonderful one, too, man. I look forward to having you in that. As a matter of fact, that's a wonderful plug for Conversations with the Pitbull on IndieGoGo. Our days, our countdown, all we need is really one funder. This movie, our budget is really lunch money. For those of you who don't know about it, Conversations with the Pitbull is our feature film, which is about 10 dogs on death row in the dog pound talking to each other about how they ended up there. And it's all kinds of dogs. And what they all have in common is it's always a human's fault. So we flash back and show these dog stories and a lot more. But the campaign is on IndieGoGo.com, Conversations with a Pitbull. You can contribute because we're going to make the movie. Just to give you guys an update on that, you too, Gordon.
Yes.
So look, Gordon, make sure that you stay on our hip, and we appreciate you so much for hanging out with us for a minute. I know you guys are out there smashing, doing the good work, and we've got your back and you've got ours, and together we're going to change the world with for these dogs. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for calling in, dude.
I'll get on the show live with you guys here one of these days when I can Skype in and we can see each other and have a longer conversation and take this a little bit deeper. So I appreciate what you guys are doing, and thanks for your support.
And
all right, word up.
You keep doing what you're doing, buddy, and we want you in the studio. So
yeah, whenever you're out here on the West Coast, but anyway, we got to get back to our in-house guests, man. That's one of the cool things about being over here at RMC, this world-class studio, is we get to have people hang out with us in the studio, and we've got our buddy Brett, a great comedian in the house. Like, Brett, what's happening, bro?
What's up, man?
Hey, tell us a little bit about your experience with dogs before we took off and went on our path earlier. We were talking about Foster said you got an apartment, man, that doesn't let you have dogs. You're on strictly cat status. Is that all right? Is that what we heard? Are we hearing that right?
No, I have a cat, but we can have dogs in our apartment.
Yeah, you just what's the science with that? You got a puppy in the making, or somebody that's gonna spend some time with you over there, or what?
Well, I was raised with dogs. We usually, my whole family was folks that we didn't buy dogs from like the pound and stuff. We usually bought from breeders like German Shepherds and stuff like that. We had a Rottweiler at one point in our life, and so I was raised with dogs. And, it's not that I don't love them. I think they're great. It's just my work schedule doesn't allow for me to be able to properly take care of one. I travel a lot. Being an actor, comedian, and a rapper in this industry, I perform a lot. I'm on set. I'm on location. So a cat is where I'm at.
Well, that's all right, because a friend of mine had a cat that he called Dog.
I call mine Loki.
Loki?
Loki,
that's cool. Yeah. I would go over his house and he would say, "Dog, come here." And I'd be like, "What, dog, come here?"
You got any funny dog jokes or not so funny dog jokes?
Well,
not really.
Hey, Brett. Give us a sample though.
I got a daddy dog joke. You want to hear mine?
Yeah, I want to hear your dog joke. Let's hear it.
Hey,
what kind of dog does Dracula have?
What kind?
a bloodhound.
Wow.
Hey, I'm here till Tuesday. Watch out, I'm coming for that top spot, Brett.
Hey man, you know what? I got one thing to say to that. I think you need to keep your day job for a little longer.
We're going to take a call real quick from our friend Natalie. Are you there?
I am here.
Hey, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Natalie, we got you on deck. Tell us a little bit about what you got going on.
All right. Well, I'm in Lafayette, Indiana, and I started about 5 years ago a no-kill dog shelter. And I take all breeds, ages, discrimination of any type of situation that the dog may be in. I take them because I think they all deserve a second chance. Basically, what I do is I take in all breeds and ages of dogs, and I'm basically just a temporary home for them until I can find them a forever home that fits well with all parties involved. But I also, the big thing that I'm known for is that I take the bully breeds. I take dogs from death row. And I also work with hoarders and puppy mills, a lot of those. So I take a lot of the hard cases that most humane societies and other rescues that they euthanize, and I don't. I hold on to them for years, and because there's always going to be someone that will find a good family for them. So I just believe everybody deserves a second chance, and I'm so grateful and humbled to be able to have been doing this for the last 5 years.
Natalie, I love that title, The Second Chance.
The Puppy Mill Project estimates there are approximately 10,000 puppy mills across the United States, with approximately 1/3 of those being Amish-owned and operated. The Midwest has become known as the Puppy Mill Belt, with a high concentration of puppy mills in Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, and now Indiana. The Humane Society of the United States estimates there are approximately 500,000 puppies sold in pet stores every year. Approximately 2 million puppies are produced by licensed and non-licensed facilities per year. Unfortunately, many of these dogs, both adults and puppies, do not always make their way into happy homes. Those who don't live in horrible conditions until they die, are killed, or until they are fortunate enough to be rescued. Between 300 and 400 puppy mill rescue dogs find their way to Natalie's Second Chance No-Kill Dog Shelter, located in Lafayette, Indiana, every year. Puppy mill rescues make up 10 to 15% of Natalie's shelter dogs. These are the lucky dogs. Recently, Natalie took in 8 puppy mill rescues who were rescued from an Amish puppy mill in Ohio. For these dogs and all the dogs who come to Natalie's, there will be a happy ending for them. Natalie and the amazing folks who work with her at the shelter will make sure that only the best fosters and adopters are selected for each of the pets who come through the doors of Natalie's. What can you do to stop puppy mills?
Don't shop the dogs!
Yeah, so you get to see a little bit about what Natalie's doing out there with these beautiful little dogs. Natalie, what do you see as some of the solutions, like to some of these issues? Like, what are the main things that not only you're doing, but what can the people out there do?
Foremost is to educate themselves and realize that a lot of the dogs that they're going to get at pet shops and in the malls and stuff, that's exactly that video that you just saw. 5 of those are mothers, and they've had countless litters of puppies just to fill those pet shops. So I think the big thing is education. People need to realize where these cute little guys are coming from. The other thing, I think even with backyard breeders, people think there's so much money in it, and it becomes a product. And for me, each one of these little guys, they're an individual soul, and I don't see them as products. So first, people need to be educated. Guaranteed, you can find a full breed dog of any kind sitting in a shelter. So every time you buy one of my shelter dogs, thank God one of mine doesn't die, but shelter dogs die because people are out there buying dogs.
Well, tell people where they can get at you. What's the contact info? How do they get in contact with you?
Sure. You can get with me at nataliesecondchance@gmail.com. You can also find us on Facebook, and you would just look up Natalie's Second Chance No Kill Dog Shelter. And I would love to hear from people. Like I said, I'm incredibly grateful to be doing this for the last 5 years. I get no state funding, no city funding. It's only through donations. And it's things like this, like Foster, I am thrilled to death to even be doing this. I think it's really cool what you're trying to do. And it just takes a lot of us rallying to get everybody educated on what needs to change.
All right, well, that's awesome.
That are making the problem.
Natalie, tell us, because we're all about the pictures here, that video, who did that?
Oh, that was Rita. Rita is a good woman. She came into my shelter one day and just offered to, she had been following me on Facebook. And she's amazing. We were together all week long getting that video together.
Really?
So she's awesome. She's really helped me get into this computer world because I have no idea what I'm doing. I just rescue dogs.
Well, big ups to Rita because that was wonderful. Because getting inside those places is not easy. I know that true. With a camera,
Hey, we Natalie, thank you so much for hitting us up. We got some people blowing up our phones, so make sure you guys check in with Natalie on her Facebook. Give her a shout out. They're doing excellent work, and they can use your help as well. So I think we got somebody on the line. Like let's chime in and see who's checking us out in the world out there. Hey, what's happening? This is Danny. Conversation with the Pitbull Live. Who are we talking with?
Hello? Pardon me? Hello?
Are you taking a phone call?
On the phone? Are you there?
Taking a phone call? Hello?
Hey, could you turn your phone? Could you turn your computer down or your radio, please?
Turn your computer down, your computer sound down while you're on the phone. We're getting feedback.
Oh, sorry about that.
Hey, who are we talking with?
Hi, Foster. You're talking to Barbara Stewart, New York Warriors.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Say hello to Danny and Brett and our engineer, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. Hi, Brett. Hi, Danny.
Hi.
What's happening with the Warriors out there? What are you guys up to?
Well, first I'd like to say that we are a grassroots organization. We have affiliates in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, New York, of course, and recently California. We are about fighting for reform of the shelter system nationwide. I feel that we have to start somewhere with the treatment of our animals in the shelters. I agree with Gordon. I love Gordon to death. I agree with Natalie and everything that she said. There are things that go on in shelters that people aren't aware of. Education is important, awareness, spay/neuter your animals. We have to stop puppy mills, the breeders. We have to stop what goes on Craigslist. I believe in adopting. Don't shop while shelter dogs die. Most people do not even know half of what goes on in the animal care and control shelters of the nation.
True. And you guys are making a dent, man. I love the streaming things that I've caught a couple of times. Tell everybody about that when you guys stream.
When we stream, we are on Total Liberation. When we hold rallies in front of the animal care and control centers, we have someone there that films for us, and try to make people aware of what's going on in the shelters. First of all, the shelters, the general public, have no idea of the short amount of time that an animal has once they're put into a shelter. They don't really have much time, maybe sometimes 24 hours. They are in great need of low-cost spay and neuter clinics. The ACC is being run by the Department of Health, of which I don't understand why the Department of Health runs the animal care and control centers. The only time that they should come in is when there's a rabies epidemic.
Right. So, Bob, tell everybody where they can hit you and your group at.
You can touch base with us on Facebook. We have a New York Warriors page, Pennsylvania page, and California and Massachusetts.
All right.
Awesome. That's the New York Warriors out there getting it in. Hey, check it out. Like I said before, we're going to try to get some of these dogs adopted, and we got our girl Paula out there who's on the front lines for us at Conversations with Pitbull Live. She's going to talk to you about a couple dogs that are available for adoption. Paula, are you out there?
Hi.
Hey, what's happening? How you doing?
Good. You?
We're doing great. So check it out. I heard we got about 5 dogs that are that we want to talk about. Tell us, in order, just about the first dog that we have available for adoption.
Okay. The first one that I have, and any of these dogs can be seen if you want to contact me on Facebook. The first one is Eliza, and she was a North Central dog. She was surrendered by her owner for digging a hole in the yard. She lived 3 months in a kill shelter. She was rescued. She then spent a month in boarding. Eliza was surrendered again in Yucca Valley. So contact me on Facebook, Paula Archer, for more information on her. The next dog we have, she's a real sweetie. Her name's Lottery, and she's set to be euthanized. She is approximately 1 year old. She's a female pit bull, not yet spayed. Seems like the shelters kill the neglected-looking pit bulls first. Obviously, they must be maybe strays. She deserves a loving family. She's just a real sweetheart. She's at Downey Shelter in California, and that phone number is 562-658-2085. And if you miss any of these numbers, you can go to Paws Pit Parade on Facebook, and all the information on the dogs are there. The next dog we have is Spot, and this baby tears at my heart. I think it's the postcard, and I'll read the postcard in case you can't see it very well. It says, "Dear former family of 5 years, it has been 6 months since I got lost, and now I realize that you probably aren't coming to look for me. So today I blew a wish for a new family that will love me forever. Sincerely, dog number D51863, now known as Spot." Spot is in Burlington County Animal Shelter in West Hampton, New Jersey. Like I said, contact me if you need any more information. Up next, we have Demi. Demi is a real doll. She's often overlooked in the shelter. She's been living at the shelter for a long time now, and she really needs a forever loving home of her own. Demi is about 1.5 to 2 years old. She is sweet and shy. She's a really happy girl. If you're interested in adopting Demi or any other dog at ISIP, call 631-224-5660. And that's the animal shelter at Bayshore, Long Island, New York.
All right. So thank you.
And then we have the last dog. What's the last dog that we got on deck?
Okay, the next one that we have, his name's PV, and he has been discounted to help find him a new home. And they are also offering up to 3 training classes. PB is a male pit bull. He's approximately 2 to 3 years old. He's very energetic, and he loves to play fetch, loves attentions, and loves belly rubs, which I don't know of a pit that doesn't. But anyway, if you would like to take this awesome dog home with you, please call the shelter, and it's in Benson, Arizona. That number is 520-586-3600. And I would like to throw in here some possum news. Taylor, Gunner, and Oreo have new forever homes. High Paw 5 for those 3.
Wow, thank you so much, Paula. Paula's our frontline adoption specialist. She's blessed us with her time and her expertise to help you guys out there know that we're trying to get some of these dogs adopted. That's what this stuff is all about. We're not radio guys, per se, just specifically. We're actually trying to do some good in the community. And you know what, Paula, thank you so much. Tune in each week. Paula's going to help us get some of these dogs adopted. But speaking of doing some great work in the community, the dog community, we've got another in-studio guest. Our friend Mary is here. Mary, what's happening? How are you?
Thanks for having me. This is just so totally awesome, and I'm just like so pumped to be here. But the reason I'm here is to get my little girl Diva Deedles a home. She is in the Cowlitz Humane Society in Longview, Washington, and I don't want to cry. Anyway, she was abandoned with 10 puppies in an apartment in Portland. And she's been in the shelter system for like 3 years now. She's a boxer pitbull mastiff. Well, she's not mastiff. She's boxer pitbull mix, and she's just the sweetest dog. She has to be the only dog. She doesn't like to share. But anyway, if anybody's looking for a really totally cool dog, go to Longview, the Cowlitz Humane Society. The number is 360-577-0151. And Foster, I told you I'd cry.
Well, tell us. I mean, we got our time is super limited, but tell us a little bit about your background and your experience with dogs. I know you're out there. This stuff really tugs at your heart. So just tell us.
You know, I started out after my shepherd died. I was kind of looking for a dog, and I stumbled onto Facebook because my son said I should get a page. And I met this woman, Alexandra, and she lives in Australia, and she had posted a little dog named Freddie on an LA site. And then I just started like posting and then getting into like cross-posting dogs, and I ended up getting a dog out of a shelter in Manhattan in New York, and I brought her from New York to Woodland, Washington. I found her a home, really good home. Then I saw that they gassed dogs, and I was going, they gassed dogs? I couldn't believe it. So I ended up getting like 9 dogs out of Georgia and North Carolina and brought them. But I, too, have a diva at home, so I can't bring any more dogs into the house.
Well, I mean, like we said, it's like you do what you can, and I can see how emotional it gets you. It tears at our heartstrings, too, and what our attempt to do something about it is this show, Conversations with a Pitbull Live, and also the film, Conversations with a Pitbull. You can check that out on IndieGoGo. We want to try to take a call. We've got somebody on the line real quick. Let's take a quick call and see what's going on as Foster's over here getting the business from her boy Grip. Hey, hello, who are we talking to?
This is Blaze of California Warriors. How you doing?
Hey, what's happening? How you doing?
Good.
Hey,
I want to make a good shout out to Panda Paw Rescue. I heard a great story today about one of their beautiful dogs they had taken out of a shelter about a year ago. Real quick, they picked this dog out of a shelter that had major fractures in its legs and its front paws, and they actually had to do major surgery on it, and that dog is still alive today thanks to them.
Hey,
in a wheelchair.
That's a wonderful. Hey, man, listen, let me tell you, we're running out of time.
Tell them where we can get at you real quick, just quickly on your Facebook, or where can we contact you?
you can reach us at California Warriors on our group page on Facebook at any time.
And I'm so sorry, everybody. The phones are like jammed, and
Monica, we know you're out there, chiming in, but we're going to try to get you in next week
at the top of the show.
This is actually really cool. I mean, it's a good problem to have. We've got the phones blowing up, and Skype is blowing up, and
in the chat.
What we're doing out there, people, is working. So please keep calling in. Please keep Skyping in. Thank you so much for people that called in. Gordon Shell, our buddy Fred out there with Pitbull Legal News, Natalie, Paula, our in-studio guests, Brett, and Mary.
Yeah, and I got a joke for you now.
Oh,
Brett,
here we go. Yeah.
Let's get out with Brett. And we'll play that video next week for you guys. I promise you're going to love it. Go, Brett.
You remember my joke. Let's see how his stacks up.
You ready?
Yes.
What did the Dalmatian say after he finished eating his dinner?
I don't know.
Man, that sure hit the spots.
All right. Well, I was here till Tuesday. He's here till Wednesday, obviously. He's in the big room. I'll be in the little room in the back. Make sure you guys get out there and support our buddy Brett. Brett, tell them really quickly what you got coming up and where they can get at you.
Well, I'll be performing pretty much all over LA. I'm going to be in Las Vegas for 3 days for a fashion week. emceeing that event, and I'm doing the Faces of the USA. It's a beauty pageant for girls from like ages 10 all the way up into 23, I think. Right. And I'm a celebrity judge for that.
Oh, okay, cool. You're on the judge side. You're not going to be up there.
I'm actually performing. I'm singing 2 songs, one with one of the contestants and one with a 2-time LA Music Award nominee. And then I'm also telling jokes, and I'm a celebrity judge.
Hey, you remember that card you used to get on the Monopoly board where it said you just won $10 for second place in a beauty contest?
Yeah, I remember that.
Hey, guys, come back next week. We'll have more time. We'll get everybody in. Fred, thank you so much. We didn't get back to you, but we're going to have all the legal. We're going to be talking about this breeding. We're going to be talking about adoption. It's a lot of stuff, you know.
Conversation with a Pitbull live, and check out our fan page, Conversation with a Pitbull on IndieGoGo. Thank you guys so much. Tune in next week and hit us up.
And tell somebody, rescue.
Shout out to Pitbull Energy Drink and our folks here at RMC Studios.